Ready?
Right? Yes.
Hello, what have we here?
This is just the beginning.
I know what you're gonna say.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder!
I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror. There was suddenly silence.
Hello and welcome to Explore the Force live show on a Thursday night. And joining us today, like we've been saying, is the guys from Rebel Scum Con. We've got Bobby and we've got Tucky. How are you both doing, gentlemen?
Good.
Hello there.
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Doing good. I didn't expect to feel feelings with that intro. I thought it was just gonna be like the cool explore the. I mean, it was the cool explore the Force intro, but I mean,
yeah,
wow.
I wasn't expecting B-roll from our show there. I haven't seen that before.
That was a beautiful edit.
Yeah, I liked it.
Thank you so much.
That was unexpected.
Not a problem. Everything's been done by Charlie. Look at Bobby's filling up already.
Yeah.
Started bringing back all the awesome memories. We're going to do a massive deep dive into Scum Con, the first edition, later on the show. But before we go any further forward, again, just thank you to all that are going to be joining us. Get involved in the chat. If you've got any questions for the guys, for us, whatever it is, chuck it in there. Charlie will read it out as normal. And before we go any further as well, Bobby, if you want, mate, the floor is yours. Promote Rebel Scum Con. Let them know where it is, who you are, where you're from, and what's happening.
Yes, well, first of all, hello there, Star Wars fans, and yes, on behalf of Rebel Scum Con, this is going to be year 2, August 8th through the 10th, 2025, at the Frisco Conference Center. Now, you can also see all of this information on our main website or anywhere you can find us on social media. We're on pretty much every single major platform you can just about think of, including Discord, and that's going to be rebelscumconventions.com, Rebel Scum Conventions with an S. So rebelscumconventions.com for all info, book your tickets, see hotels, all that good stuff, guests, panels when we start announcing panels, which will start coming shortly after we're done announcing our guests, which we have one for today live here on Explore the Force. Ooh. And I'm super excited because it's a really, really cool announcement. Just like I said, Rebel Scum Con anywhere on social media, even on YouTube and Discord.
That's right. Awesome. And as always, we'll be sharing all the links, posts. Check everything in the bio as well. We'll be posting loads of build up towards Rebel Scum Con happening this year. We cannot wait. We know how good the first one was. We did a review episode 60. So if, again, anyone interested, wondering what it is, what it's about, and what happened last time, check it out. I'm sure, again, this time there's lots more to come. Bigger, better, more Rebel Scum Con, the better. Now, before we start, Bobby, Tucky, tell me, how did it all start? Where did it all come from?
Ooh, do you want to take this one, Tuck?
No, you go ahead, because you were there a little bit more from the beginning of rebelscum.com, and it really became Rebel Scum Con when when the three of us put our heads together and kind of decided we were going to do this. But go ahead, you start.
Well, it started with really just a couple of things for just kind of the quick version, or quickish version, and that is it started with mine and our other partner Joshua Durazo's involvement with rebelscum.com, and we were passed the torch, so to speak, but also purchased the website from Philip Wise, who started rebelscum.com back in '96, and Josh, in his younger days, back when he lived in Florida, he and his father hosted a convention called Epic Comic Con, and they had a few successful shows down there before they ended up moving to Texas back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Yeah. And so he had already been accustomed to doing some comic conventions in the past. And then not long after he moved to Texas, he and his dad started the world's first official Star Wars collectible store, Order 66 Toys, which has now a worldwide presence, largely due to the work that I've done with that for almost a decade now. I came onto the scene with Order 66 around 2017, and that was shortly after the release of Rogue One, because Rogue One just like not just relit the spark for like a burning passion of Star Wars again,
Yeah.
but like inflamed it, like Force Awakens like brought it back a little bit, but like Rogue One really just like we're back, like Star Wars is on again. And not that it was ever off, it's just on. So I've been with Order 66 ever since, because at the time I was finishing up my degree in radio television and looking to get into entertainment, voice acting, that kind of thing. And I do a little bit of that now with a guest of ours from year one, C. Andrew Nelson, through Theme Parkology, which is a company that does audio dramas and original story audio dramas too.
Yeah.
Really awesome, not to toot our own horns, but they are really awesome. Full production, lot of like well-known voice actors and actresses from all over the world, including like Boo from Monsters Inc., the young lady who played her. She returned to work for the first time in a long time. Anyway,
nice.
Back here. So just graduated, looking for something new to do with my life, and I get involved with Order 66 right around the time of Rogue One. It's the perfect time and the perfect storm. And I've been with them ever since. Shortly after I started, I think it was 2018, when we started the Order 66 Toys Friday Night Live show. And that was after we had already started just doing live content regularly, toy reviews, informational videos, celebrity interviews, all kinds of stuff. Nothing was off limits. It was Star Wars related. And then, our audience just kept pushing, well, you guys are the official Star Wars collectible toy store, because we are a licensed Disney affiliate and have been since 2010. And that's a long time. 15 years.
Wow. 15 years, yeah.
Yeah. And the live show itself, the Friday night live show, we go live every Friday night starting at 7 p.m. Central Time, and have for almost 7 years straight now. Missing like maybe 4 or 5 Fridays due to like a major holiday or something of that.
That's a really good effort, that, yeah.
But even if you guys had missed, I mean, you pre-recorded a show and it was basically a claim sale. So
right.
It's been every Friday, no matter what.
There was something. So there's informational stuff. There's a lot of discussionary, content too. Aside from, hey, look at really cool toys and collectibles going back to '77 and all the way up to now. And again, anything and everything under the sun that's Star Wars related is covered. And eventually, after we just were involved in our community, we've been heavily involved with a big Facebook group and a few others, but specifically the CSWC, which stands for the Community of Star Wars Collectors. Shout out to all of them, who are absolutely wonderful and have been with us literally the whole time that we've been doing our live show content. That got us the attention of Philip, and Philip around late 2020, early 2021 started talking to us, and at first we thought it was to purchase Star Wars toys or something from him.
Yeah.
And then he kept asking.
His collection is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes, which we did not buy, nor do we plan to, because that's his personal collection. And if you've seen any of our video footage, which we have done, he did allow us to do that on Order 66 back around 2020, 2021.
Nice.
That was, I think, one of the only instances of somebody filming in Philip Wise's personal collection. And it's jaw-dropping. I mean, it's amazing.
He's got matching numbers on pretty much everything Master Replica. So, I mean, like, whereas because of, who he was in the scene, or is in the scene, he would be able to say, hey, this is the number I want. So when you produce the next unit, that's the number I want on that unit too.
Nice.
Everything in the signature series of Master Replica with matching numbers to with everything else in his collection and so on. It's just, I've only been there one time. The guys brought me down there, and yeah, I still haven't picked my jaw up since.
Yeah, that's not even like discussing how jaw-dropping his workshop is, where he just builds whatever he wants just as a hobby. I mean, the man is so incredibly talented. He's a mechanist, and he builds. I mean, he's a droid builder like so many other fans. And he doesn't just build Star Wars droids. I mean, he builds famous robots and things from other awesome sci-fi movies that we know and love, such as TARS from Interstellar. He has a movie quality working TARS that he built in his workshop, and it's just one of the most mind-blowing things ever. The man's truly amazing. But in the midst of our early conversations, we were a little confused, and that's when it turned into, well, what would you guys do with Rebel Scum? And one of the first things Josh mentioned was, well, eventually I'd love to do a fan convention of some kind, a Rebel Scum Con, if you will. I don't remember if that's the exact phrase he used back then, but that's where we're at now. And honestly,
I want to say it was our second meeting that I had with Josh about this, because Josh, the first time he brought it up to me, he goes, I think we want to do a con. I go, okay. And he didn't have a name for it yet. And we kind of, well, first off, he's like, I need some investors. He's like, but I don't want to go to rich people. He's like, I want a few friends that I trust that have a little bit of money that will put some money into this, that this could be everything for them. Not someone who just has an unlimited bankroll, that this means nothing.
Right.
And, you know, it went from early in that first conversation to, well, no, I don't think we want to get investors. I think I'll just come in and let's just make sure that, because we all have the same vision, let's keep that vision. And the more people that we bring in, it's gonna spread that vision, and it's gonna maybe get away from what we originally wanted to begin with. And I think it was early in that talks that, like, we were talking about names and whatnot. I go, any other name other than just Rebel Scum Con is defeating the purpose, because this is all being born from rebelscum.com. So like trying to go any further than that wouldn't do any justice. Let's just, bam, that's it. That meeting's done. Yeah. We got the name right there, Rebel Scum Con. Next topic.
And then from there, it was just, okay, well, we already have an idea of a good venue, and we started with the Allen Event Center in Allen, Texas, and eventually ended up at the Allen Convention Center in Allen, Texas, which is just a few miles up the street.
Yeah, but one was a hockey arena, and before we even got to the point where we were getting ready to sign the contract with the building, we had already learned that we were outgrowing this building, because we were already talking about having a lot of guests. We ended up having 44 guests year one.
Yep.
So
all Star Wars.
I mean, just with being able to keep fire exits a thing, we wouldn't be able to have the guests as well as vendor booths and everything we wanted without being able to would be blocking fire lanes and things. We couldn't fit 44 guests plus vendors in a hockey arena.
And we really wrapped our brain around it. I mean, we spent probably 2 or 3 months just going back and forth to the hockey arena, walking the floors, walking the different rooms, going.
We'll put 3 guests in each in each what do you call it, press box, and VIP box, and
we're like, we could put some here or here, and
it was just going to be so ridiculous. It was going to you would have had to have a map written on your hand to do anything there, because you had no idea where anything would be. It would be so just shoved in any corner that we could find there, and we just learned that it just wasn't going to work there.
Especially as we kept getting frustrated with it, and we're like, if we're getting frustrated trying to figure this out, anybody who attends is going to be frustrated with trying to figure this out.
and having less guests wasn't going to be an option. 44 was and because we we
We
really
had a
wanted
hard
to
time
touch
trying to
every
get us away.
aspect of the fandom. We wanted to hit the original trilogy. We wanted to hit the sequels. We wanted to hit the prequels. We wanted to try to hit every one of the Disney Plus shows, as well as voice actors. We wanted to really, touch every aspect. And I think we did a good job of that. Year one was, and to be able to have a little bit for everybody.
We, aside from non-canon material, I think we got everything.
Mm-hmm.
Except maybe someone from Acolyte. I think that's the only.
But it hadn't even aired yet at that point.
No,
but we
technically had 4 or 5
Crew.
people from Skeleton Crew,
right?
That, and we learned more later, because some people were like, "Hey, I'm in Skeleton Crew, but I can't tell you what character it was," and that was Dane DeLigro, who ended up being the greasy creature.
Yep.
At the bar in the second episode, and then and Marty Matulis, who was Captain, or Pirate Bane,
which we already knew.
We knew that, but
and he had already appeared in the trailer.
But there's a number of people who didn't even tell us until after
Carrie.
a panel. Well, Carrie Jones, Carrie Jones, who was Neil's dad, and
nice.
Black Chrysanthemum, and also Gory.
Nice.
Shard.
Well, we had Neil's mum come on the show.
Oh,
1 or 2 episodes back.
Nice.
That's Dawn.
She's
right?
an absolute
Dawn.
angel. Yeah, she's a wonderful, wonderful woman.
So talented.
She's super nice.
Yeah, she plays a lot of Rodians as well, and she's one of the one of the main puppeteers for Grogu.
She was the Rodian in Book of Boba Fett that walks along the desert, and she was telling us she couldn't see out the mask, which is probably obvious, and she ended up tripping Tim up, and they kept it running, and they kept it in the scene. It's the bit where he does actually trip up.
Oh,
it went so well.
Nice.
So that whole bit there where he trips up was actually an accident.
That's cool.
When he turns around and says his dialogue, etc., they kept it running, kept it going, and it fitted nicely.
Brilliant.
So
nice.
I love
I love those behind the scenes stories.
That's probably why he didn't save her when the sand creature pushed her head in the sand.
yeah.
It's true. It sounds like the two of you guys have put a hell of a lot of work in, and it has been what sounds like kind of crazy journey to get to where you are now. And I know that our co-host Jimmy is sad that he can't be with us to talk about his experience, and I'm sure you guys are as well. But for our viewers and our listeners, what could the average attendee expect to experience at a Rebel Scum Con?
Oh, you talking about moving forward here in year 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, moving forward in year 2, it's gonna be a very similar feel to like we had in year 1.
Yeah.
The biggest change for us is gonna be the venue, and so really it's just gonna be the scenery is gonna be different, and the layout is better. We fixed the guest and vendor layout. That was one of our biggest.
We do have a floor layout, don't we, Charlie?
Yeah,
we do. Would you?
Yes,
shall
we
I?
do.
Shall I?
Whack
Shall I
it
put
up.
it
Yeah.
up in the teams?
Whack it up.
and this is
There
the
you
first anyone has seen of it.
So
Take it away, Bobby.
So now, if you look, the vendor room and the celebrity room were separate before, and that was one of our biggest critiques from vendors and attendees alike. So we heard you guys, because we also did a panel at the end of our show, which I wasn't attending because I was doing stuff in the signer room at that point. But we had a panel at the end of the show asking our attendees and vendors, whoever wanted to attend this panel, what we can do better going forward for Rebel Scum Con. And Josh, our other partner and owner in Rebel Scum Con, primarily hosted that one. Kentucky, you were there for that one, right?
No, I was in the signer room with you.
You and I were both in the signer room.
We had
Josh and somebody else.
Yeah, we had that group photo that we took at that time. That's one that Ross Sandbridge posted.
Yes.
And, we know
Ross was such a sweetheart.
Love you, Ross.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He was literally on our show, I think, 2 or 3 weeks before he came out to do Rebel Scum Con.
Yeah, he was super excited to be there, and we had such a great time with him. He the vibe that was year 1 will continue in year 2. The vibe was it was like summer camp for Star Wars.
Summer camp with Star Wars with your best friends and favorite guests is what a lot of
the guests were seeing people they had never seen before from other media, or people they hadn't seen since they filmed. The attendees got to hang out with the guests as if they were just buddies that they've known forever. I mean, Ross met a bunch of people that they went and did a road trip to Buc-ee's to get some beaver stuff. It was a.
We had attendees
it
taking guests
definitely
out
wasn't
to
a
dinner over the
yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, Jimmy was one of them. He took Ross.
We had attendees just walk up and say, "Hey, can I take you out to dinner over here?" Because we had a bunch of restaurants across the street, and there will be around our next venue too. And some of the guests, because some of the guests actually knew some of these people, it wasn't like 100% a complete stranger walked up with hey, I'm just a big fan, let me take you out, in a creepy way. But we did have a bunch of attendees who had a prior relationship, or because of who they were, and the guests also recognized them. A lot of them just went out to dinner on various nights, and we had planned meals for a lot of them too. And some of them would go, "Oh, well, I was gonna go in the meal you're paying for, but these other guys invited me over here, and I want to go there." And we were like, "Yeah, all right." Brendan Wayne and just took his daughter and a few friends, and they just left and went to an arcade and played for a while during one of the nights and had a lot of fun.
We had all the season 3 Mandalorians went to Grandscape to the Andretti go-kart racing.
Yeah,
there's a lot of fun nearby us, so they were able to take advantage. I mean, it was definitely not a corporate run convention where it's you stand there, you do this, stay away from everyone, don't talk to anyone. It was very free form. Everyone had a good time, and that's something that we want to make sure we continue for year 2.
Yep.
Awesome. I was going to ask you about the changes in that, but obviously you've absolutely nailed that anyway. So I'll move straight on to my next sort of question anyway. And again, a lot of people that are listening or going to be watching this are probably thinking, "Oh, you're just saying that because they're on." But genuinely, Jimmy had the best time. The pictures, the videos, again, check it out on our socials. It's all still on there. Episode 60, he did a fantastic review of the whole event. So much so I can't wait. I'm trying my hardest to get out there and come across.
Yeah, I'm booking my flights right now, guys. Honestly, I'm in. You've sold me.
Real. But again, what Jimmy's told me, and we've only had you guys on for less than half an hour, 30 minutes, and you can see the passion and the big things straight away, like Tucky's rightly saying, these people yourselves that are planning it, you're planning it not to make money, but to get that experience as well. Obviously, money's great. Let's not beat around the bush. But the biggest thing is the experience that you're sharing with people. You're making it a lot more interactive rather than there's a barrier there. You can't go past it unless you've paid $10,000, for example. That doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. And the guests that you get on, those are some of the best guests that I've had the privilege to meet. Brendan Wayne, for example, Ross Sandbridge. These genuinely, again, this is to the listeners and people watching. These are the people, these are the actors that or people that are involved in Star Wars, the thing that you love like we all do, that will talk to you, will take the time of day out and really talk to you properly as well, not just thanks for the picture next, and there was so much of that. Jimmy was telling me all about that. And as well, the fans, people, you people that are going or that were there, lots of fan interaction, cosplays. You've seen it in the intro video, loads of people dressing up. Even Bobby is dressed up in his Admiral outfit, ready to launch just in case.
Yes, Bobby, yes.
Again, it's little things like that. They go such a long way because people will look at that and go, you know what, that person cares. I was fortunate enough to go to an event last weekend. It's the first time this person had run an event. The time and effort was there. There was live music, guests again. This Rebel Scum Con, guys and girls, I'm not kidding. It's like celebration off the handles. I can't wait. I do honestly, genuinely, highly recommend it with what Jimmy's been telling me. But yeah, real big kudos to yourself, Tucky and Bobby and everyone else that's involved. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. Something of this, magnitude as well. And there's a lot of sacrifice that people don't realise that goes into these sort of things, isn't there?
Yes.
I mean, it's my full-time job right now, and I haven't made a penny from it yet. You were talking about the money, the millions. I go, maybe one day we'll make some money from this. In the meantime, it's not about that.
Right.
It would definitely, it would be great for me to be able to take care of all my bills and still be able to focus on Rebel Scum Con, year round. When that day comes, that's cool. In the meantime, I'm doing whatever I can to take care of what I need to, but also, this is still a 7-day-a-week job for me.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the primary booker this year. I've kind of taken those reins on, and so that's why I need to have the website open in front of me, because there's so much that I know that I have to make sure I am not slipping my tongue up.
Yeah. And again, it is a big job. Go on, Bobby. Sorry.
Oh, I was telling him, keep to the schedule.
Yeah, keep to the schedule.
Keep to the schedule.
You're both doing a fantastic job. Now, I mentioned about guests, and Bobby sort of knows what's coming because I did pre-warn him, and Jimmy did mention her. But there was an unsung hero, one person we heard a lot about from the first edition, Bobby's mum.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, my mom, Joanna, or Aunt Joanna, as she likes to introduce herself as. Yes, my mom was one of the many family members we had working RSC year one. And that was, and not just her, like I said, that was one of the beautiful things about Rebel Scum Con, is part of the reason why we've been able to accomplish the things we've accomplished, because while Kentucky and I are the only ones on the stream with you right now, Dante is behind the scenes right now managing the stream of this stream on Rebel Scum on Facebook right now too.
Yeah.
And then there's also our partner Josh. Then there's his whole family, his wife Heather, who is heavily involved in Rebel Scum Con behind the scenes, and was in charge of our registration.
Awesome.
Or is in charge of our registration. My wife helped with that. My mom helped with that big last year, which is why
Cheyenne's mom's going to come out this year, and she's going to help at registration as well.
Cheyenne's mom's coming. Very nice. I've been looking forward to meeting Mama Lindsay. And then there's also Cheyenne. Cheyenne is Kentucky's significant other, and she helped watch over the signing room in year one, and I think she'll be doing a lot of that again in year two. There's Tim, who also managed the signing room along with Cheyenne over at the ticketing booth. And I mean, Tim and I, we were in the trenches at the very start because we didn't know what to expect as soon as door opened on year one.
Yeah.
And of course, wouldn't you know it, like the photo ops system like crashed as soon as the convention started, and we're trying to take in like autograph pre-orders that, you know, they had taken some on along with photo op pre-orders, and so we're like trying to go through that, but of course we got through it.
QR's not scanning and not being able to log to know if it was real or not. And we definitely got hit right off the bat with the learning curve with technology, with other people's systems. But to talk about, I don't know if Jimmy's mentioned at all the ticketing system that we use at our show,
I love our ticketing
which is
system.
similar to a larger show like Celebration, where we don't do any transactions at each individual signer's booth, because a lot of times, especially if there's a long line for a guest, you feel rushed for your short period of time you have with that guest. And the last thing you want to do during that time is take your $50 bill and trying to get $20 change from the guy you want to talk about, you know, their scene or
Which
your
is awkward as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely an awkward situation, and you don't want to lose that time. You know, I mean, because you rush yourself because you know there's people behind you. You want them to get the experience as well, and we took that away. We're like, let's just get rid of that.
Yep.
But let's do something cool and give a souvenir in the process. So I just happen to have this next to my desk, but these were like our tickets from year one. So when you either pre-purchased or purchased on site, you would get it would look like it's a card back, and it's the same size as a trading card. Yeah, I can see your chart over there, and you got to keep this. You didn't trade this in and it went away. You get to keep this, and this bottom section would have a proprietary hole punch that we had that would signify what you purchased, whether it's an autograph or a selfie or something else. And that would get broken off, and that would be retained by the assistant to the signer. And then you got this souvenir that you got to keep.
That's amazing. I love that. Okay.
So not only did we add that ticketing system in there to take away from having to have a transaction at the guest table, we also gave you a souvenir in the process,
which you could get signed as well.
You could if you choose to. Yeah,
that's so cool.
I think that's amazing. I do. I
We
absolutely love that.
We also had full-size versions of every single card back printed at the regular Kenner size 3/3 scale card backs.
Yeah.
So for those who collected original vintage card backs because they kept them when they opened their figures, or vintage collection card backs, or both, these are meant to fit in right with them.
Yeah.
Just like Kenner or Hasbro would, we're very choosy with the images. Shout out to Kirk, our art director for Rebel Scum Con, who took care of all of those. Not that he was forced to, mind you. We're not slave drivers here in the Rebel Scum Con family, but Kirk insisted last year on handling absolutely everything art himself, even though we were like, hey, we have this awesome artist who's at your disposal. They volunteered for you to use. Go ahead, assign them something. Oh, sure, yeah, I might do that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
He never did.
That's amazing. And that's what I'm talking about. It's little things like that you thought about that go a long way, that maybe some of these bigger conventions are missing. You've literally catered for everybody. You've thought about, what doesn't work, and now thought of something what will work. And again, a big thing, and I think it's a fantastic idea, the panel that you did at the end, which was, right, open forum, what didn't work? If it was crap, tell me why it was crap. What do you want? And lo and behold, second edition, it's bigger, it's better. You've listened to what people want, because at the end of the day, yes, you're doing this for yourselves, but you're doing it more importantly for the Star Wars community. It's huge. It's absolutely huge.
It's 10 out of 10 market research. So impressed. So impressed. Such a smart idea.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that's, like we said, we started this very community minded. We've always looked at it, and this goes all the way back to the earliest days of the partnerships with just me and Josh at 66. When we started doing all of this content and starting a show, we never, like Tucky's point, never set out to get rich or anything. We just set out to do what we like to do and spread our love of Star Wars with our fellow Star Wars fans around.
Exactly the same ethos and motto that when me, Jimmy, and Taylor started the podcast, and Charlie, it's exactly nothing. We don't do Patreon. Everything Star Wars is free, should be free. Star Wars costs way too much as it is anyway.
Yeah, it is an expensive hobby, especially as it keeps growing too, and all these different toy lines and collectible lines. Tucky knows he collects VC, Black Series, MGS,
this is coming from a guy with 600 plus Black Series figures.
Yes, it is. I do. I have over 600 loose Black Series figures. That's just Black Series. That's just Star Wars.
I've collected the entire Black Series sealed, so I have everything in the Black Series sealed, minus the one thing that Josh and Bobby love throwing in my face. Josh, more than anyone, is the prototype white Chewbacca that was only given to Hasbro employees. And I go, that doesn't count because it was never a retail item. I have everything that's been put in a package and released in Black Series.
It was put in a package.
It doesn't count.
It
doesn't count.
Nice.
Totally
well, that ties in nicely to Charlie's question.
Okay.
It actually does. Clearly, you guys. Hi, Jimmy. By the way, he joined. He popped in the chat to say, "Big time guest in a fun, friendly atmosphere." That sounds exactly the kind of vibe I'm up for.
And
obviously, you guys are way into your collecting. What is the favorite, your personal favorite piece of Star Wars merchandise that you own?
You want to go first, Tucky?
Oh, I don't even know what my favorite piece is. I have a new piece I just got recently from Josh, but I'd have to go run in the closet and go get it. But it's I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's a new favorite. It's a double signed master replica.
I know what it is.
Signature series Darth Vader hilt with David Prowse and James Earl Jones signatures on it.
Yeah.
So
and it's not one that was a master replica that went out and got signed. It was a signature series.
Yeah, it's a signature series, and it was a dual signed signature series.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is a grail a grail among grails. For me, it's no.
Which,
There he is.
There he is. I see him.
Right now, I have it. I have two technically, but a life-size battle droid. That was 3D printed.
That's sick.
Josh got
That's
that
so
for me.
cool.
I love it.
Behind me is my whole Roger collection right now, but specifically the life-size one, because Rogers are just my
Nice.
absolute favorite.
Virtual Cantina Network says Tucky is just bragging. I can neither confirm nor deny this.
That sounds like Spencer, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be Spencer.
No, not bragging. That would no. I've got a couple cool things. There's a lot of people out there that have enormous collections that make the little just the action figures I have to shame. I mean, Gabriel's one of them.
Oh my gosh, Gabriel's collection is nuts.
I wish one day I could do something similar to half of what he has. That's insane. I also can't afford to get into the statue world either. That's not a thing I can do.
I just broke into Hot Toys last week. I finally got a Hot Toys
Oh,
Roger.
yeah.
No, my guy, no.
Yeah, I mistakenly did that. I say mistakenly. It was a drunken purchase. Money went out my account, and then a Vader turned up, and then I had some explaining to do to the wife. But that's a different story.
Hey, if there's only a one to get though, Vader's a good one to get.
Yeah, it's the anniversary one as well.
Oh, that's a good one. That's such a good one. Yeah,
Return of the Jedi is sick. So
yes.
I'll come to you first, Tucky, with this question. I'll give Bobby a little bit of time to think. So tell me about the first con that you attended, and how's it feeling now that you're running a con?
The first con I attended, man, see, I would have to think the first con I probably attended was I'm originally from North Jersey, so majority of the cons there that were close by were horror cons. So I would go to horror conventions on a regular basis.
Nice.
I mean, and like, to see cast members from The Walking Dead and Sons of Anarchy, and actually, and I was always a Star Wars fan, but I wasn't big into collecting Star Wars again at that time. I kind of trailed off a little bit after like Power of the Force, like the 1995 stuff, when it came in and it came out, and I kind of gave up on it again. And one of the shows, I think it was a Lego like show I went to, and Jeremy Bulloch was there, and that was the first signature and first like Star Wars cast member I'd ever met before, and that was like the first autograph like 8x10 I'd gotten from a Star Wars cast member, and then that kind of immediately like fed into like, now, all right, now this is a thing. Now we're doing this, and then I started. Then I started trying to find more shows that had Star Wars cast members, because I hadn't really done a lot of like the Philly Comic Con and the New York Comic Con, which were kind of like really the only options on the East Coast. There wasn't like the middle shows. There was just the enormous shows, and then you would travel for SDCC, and there was that, or the horror shows, which were the local ones. So eventually started going into more and more shows, but it wasn't a huge thing for me. It was more collecting than con going for me.
Yeah.
Wait, there's a second half to that. There's a second half to that question. I don't think I answered that.
I was waiting.
Just about to say, how does it feel now then to be running your own con?
Well, I do come from the music industry. I've 25 years in as a touring career, as a touring technician. So I do have a live event background. So attending conventions, but also putting on and producing concerts, or on my end, like on the technician side, like for making the actual performance happen. You get a good understanding on how live events need to take place. And that's being able to do it now on the convention side. It's been a lot of fun, and be able to take the things that we saw at the shows that we loved, and then the things we didn't like, and be able to say, oh, I want that, or I don't want that.
Yeah.
That'll work good. Let's do more of that, because they tried that and it was okay. But let's take what they started, and let's just take that to the next level. And that's something that we tried to do as much as we could. And I mean, it was probably 14 months that we planned out year one before it happened.
It's a lot of time planning and prepping, and the hard work definitely paid off. I can't sing it enough praises.
Well, it happened so fast. We did get a lot of praises from people, and that's kind of ultimately what we wanted, because we didn't make this. We didn't put this together for money. We did it. Yeah. We did it as fans for fans.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
of course.
I'd like to think we executed that, and
clearly.
We definitely
did, because people. Sorry, Bobby. What I would say is you got a lot of feedback, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That shows that people had such a good time and they cared. They want more of it, but better of it. That in my eyes is a really good thing. So you definitely knocked it out of the park, 100%. Like I said, Jimmy couldn't stop telling us about it. We even contemplated doing 2 episodes about it. We had to cram it into one episode. It was literally that good. But yeah, no, thanks for that, Tucky. Bobby, what about you, buddy? Tell us about your first con.
My first con was BotCon 2010, which BotCon is back after a brief hiatus, although it's under new ownership, which the new ownership is very nice. I've actually had some very lovely conversations with him. But BotCon was the first official Transformers convention. I think it's still the only technically official Transformers convention.
Okay.
I mean, TFCon is super huge and worldwide now, but and they're great. I've never attended a TFCon. I've always wanted to. I just haven't. As I've gotten older and potentially more available to attend one, I've also gotten more busy and not available to attend one, because a lot of my professional life revolves around Star Wars more than anything else. So when I'm traveling for a convention, usually it's because of Star Wars reasons and not for anything else, which is okay. But that's just how it is. But back in 2010, my mom, Joanna, she took me to my first ever BotCon, which was at the time under Fun Publications, licensed by Hasbro under the Transformers Collectors Club, which was another super awesome thing that I wish Hasbro was still doing. The Transformers and G.I. Joe Collectors Clubs were just wonderful things to be a part of. And BotCon was just something I had dreamed about going to since I was in like 5th grade, because I saw it in some old Transformers book about just Transformers over the years. Back then, it was before the first Bay movie came out, so it was like 2005, 2006, and it's probably 2006, because they were promoting one of the most recent BotCons leading up to the film, and so they had some props and stuff that they showed before the movie had come out. So I finally got to go to my first one. It was of all places, it was hosted at Disney World in Florida in 2010, which some people still don't believe me when I tell them I went to a Transformers convention at Disney World, but it happened. I did. They hosted it at the Dolphin Hotel, the one with the dolphins in front of it. I always forget the name of that one. Josh can name every Disney hotel ever because he's a Florida boy. I think it's part.
He was like an Orlando kid too. He was there.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think it's like part of the Florida curriculum. You have to be able to name all the Disney kingdoms, all the Disney hotels. You got to know all the major gator areas, that kind of thing. Probably race a NASCAR.
Can confirm as a kid who nearly emigrated, that is accurate.
There you go. So anyway, and from there, that's really where my love of conventions really took root. And BotCon back then, and I know it has that kind of a feel now based off of the posts I've seen, had a very down-to-earth, just made by the fans kind of feel to it. It was just well, kind of like year one of Rebel Scum Con was just Transformers. So just vendors everywhere, guests that you'd want to meet or had been dying to meet, and you could just approach people and talk to them.
Yeah.
And everybody was just in high spirits. People weren't grumpy in lines. They were just chatting about whatever was going on at the time in Transformers and having a good time doing it. And then my first non-themed convention was a not Fan Expo. This was before FanX was the corporate giant convention company that it is today.
Okay.
And it wasn't even owned by the current owner under Fan Expo yet. They liked the name, so they kept it. But it started out as a Texas name. So all of you FanX attenders around the world, guess what? Dallas, baby. Dallas. So yeah, Fan Expo had a smaller satellite show called Fan Days that they did in the fall.
Yeah.
And in high school, I wanted to go with a buddy, so we went because it was kind of local. It was up in the Dallas area and Irving specifically. That area has changed completely since then. But the big, as we call it, Sandcrawler convention center, because it's big and
I could imagine
geometric and brown. And
Is that Kay Bailey?
Yes, Kay Bailey.
Yeah.
Not Kay Bailey. Kay
No.
Bailey's downtown Dallas. It's Las Colinas Convention Center.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That was my first like Comic-Con, and that
Yeah.
was like my first exposure to like people in the 501st, and Clone
Yeah.
Wars was really big
Yeah.
and airing at that time. It was around like season 5 or 6 at that point. But I went with I wish I had a picture. I made a cardboard clone trooper set of armor and wore my Captain Rex voice changer helmet to that.
Nice.
And
bless.
I don't know if anybody, maybe my mom has a picture of that somewhere. I'll try to find that, maybe post it on social media.
Yeah, we need to get that up.
But
Yep.
Yeah.
as soon as I like wanted to go to conventions, I also wanted to cosplay, which is why I cosplayed at our
Yeah.
convention, because I'm not going to cosplay somewhere else and then not at my own convention.
Yeah, of course.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like back then I set out wanting to have a convention. It's just something.
No. Well, who
that
thinks
just
kind of
convention. It
I
just
didn't-
kind of happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not something I
That's
planned when I
beautiful,
moved to
though.
Dallas.
Yeah.
You could go to any school in the world anywhere and ask all the kids, what do you want to do when you're older? I doubt
Right.
you'd find anyone to say, I want to run a convention.
I
Well,
mean,
Yeah.
and I don't think they would want to after they see what the day-to-day part of it. It's
Trust me.
I
Yeah.
can imagine.
There were, trust me when I say, there were so many, and I know Tucky can probably relate. There were so many days where I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
I mean, it is far from easy. It is
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is
No, I
quite
understand.
literally the hardest thing I've ever done, job wise.
The thing is, if it was easy though, bro, everyone would be doing it.
Everyone would do
Tell
it.
me about it. Tell me about it. It is, and you know, my heart's out. All the love for everybody else out there with their own convention or thinking about starting their convention or actively planning their first convention.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know already, you are in for a great time, but more stress than you know what to do with, or probably ever experienced in your life.
But you're
And
smashing it out the park.
I mean,
Oh,
Doing well.
thank you so much.
I
Just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked performances with over 500,000 people at them, so I'm not afraid of the stress. I embrace it, and I'm ready to start producing events like this Rebel Scum Con event to more people. So I'm ready for that.
Well,
Nice.
and after year one started though, like day one, as soon as the doors opened, after that initial hurdle, because like I said, I started in the signer room as soon as doors opened. But as soon as doors opened, and then I got out of the signer room and started walking the con as people were coming in, and more people were coming in. A lot of that stress just melted away as soon as I saw all those happy
That's it.
faces and
Yeah.
people just still standing in line at registration, getting their badges or checking in, and just jumping or getting excited because they just saw one of the celebrity guest they were looking forward to see walk around the corner. And there was a lot of that because, I mean, out of 44 celebrity guests, with not just the celebrity roster, but the character roster that we covered in Star Wars with those guests, because so many of them have played multiple characters.
Yeah.
It was just
crazy.
I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan of just about any facet of Star Wars, there was at least one, if not 2 to 3 guests that you were excited to see at year 1. Yeah. And hopefully that's the same at year 2, because we won't have as many. We're only going to have 25-ish this year.
That's what I keep saying. That's what we've been saying, and it's getting so hard to keep it that way.
Control yourself.
I mean,
there's still year 3 and year 5 and 6 and so on.
Bobbi and Tucky, it's been. I'm so sorry. After you, my love.
No.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's just been. We've been working with this 25 number, and it's been a number I've been trying so hard to stick with. But I currently have 33 offers out for those 25 seats. I mean, offers or confirms or contracts.
Oh, I was about to say, is that in addition to the ones we already have signed? Because we already have a bunch signed.
I mean, there's obviously going to be certain people that it's not going to fit in your schedule, or it's still up in the air. And I mean, maybe we'll get down to 25, but there's a couple people that, if we do get confirmation of them, I'm gonna want to add a couple more guests that since we have this person, these 2 other people would work great with them. So
that's how we ended up with 44 at year 1. We just booked so and so's available, and well, now we have another barge character to go with Dickie and Julius, so we might as well get this other guy, and it ended up being a great time. They were
since we have Return of the Jedi Boba with Dickie Beer, why don't we have
get an Empire
Boba with John Morton? They're like,
might as well.
Yeah, it's just
and Dak.
Yep, and Dak. Yeah.
Which John was so lovely.
It may end up being 30, but I mean, it's unofficially 25 for as long as possible.
Okay.
We're trying.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Not that we don't want all of the guests. I mean, we would love to have every single Star Wars actor and actress who have ever played Star Wars
ambitious.
At the one show. Maybe one day, but it's just.
And we also have agreed to a no back-to-back rule. So with that being said,
mostly.
Well, no, we don't have any back-to-backs, and we have. I've already told 9 people that it's like, hey, we love you, but if we did back-to-backs, we're gonna have 70 guests.
Well, there's probably gonna be at least 1 or 2 back-to-backs, not because we're booking them specifically as guests, but because they're probably still going to attend.
Oh, well, yes. Yeah, that's different. I mean, anyone could buy a ticket and come to the show.
Nice.
Well, Bobbi and Tucky, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk about something that obviously means so much to the both of you. But before we depart, a fluffy, comfy, cozy little lost cat told me that you guys have a special guest announcement to share with everybody for 2025.
Oh yes. Do you want to say it? Or do you want me to say it? 'Cause I have a fun way to say
it.
Well,
you guys already know. Do you want to say it?
Do y'all want to say it? You guys say it. You guys say it like Daniel.
Charlie presses the button for the image.
Go for it, Charlie.
You guys say it like Daniel.
Yeah.
Well, an exclusive guest announcement for Rebel Scum Con 2025 is none other than the beautiful Rena Owen.
Oh, there she is.
Yep.
I love it. Yep. I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I wonder.
Rena was Tan Wee in Attack of the Clones, and she also came back to voice Tan Wee again in the Bad Batch most recently.
Yes.
And then in Revenge of the Sith, she was Senator Nee Alivar, who you can see in a couple different scenes alongside Padme on the landing pad, and also in the Senate chamber. There's another time you see her there, and as a human, so you get to actually see Rena. But it's
amazing.
But also, for my gaming friends out there, she also played Tanwi in Republic Commando.
Oh yes, that's, yeah.
Oh,
She did play the role in that as well.
Yeah.
So
And Lena hasn't been in the signing circuit for a little over 20 years as well. So this is going to be,
yeah.
you know,
this is a big time guest.
Yeah, this is her return back to the convention circuit, and also, you know, back to the United States for appearances as well.
Oh,
amazing.
Yes. Yep. This year is the first time she'll have signed in the States in a long time.
Yep.
wow.
So we're very excited to have her out with us this year, and I mean I know all of my fellow Attack of the Clone fans are also excited to have Tanwi, because I mean, I love Attack of the Clones. She's literally the first character you actually meet in regards to the clones.
Yes.
And forever, I think she'll stick with us because of that. I love it.
Yeah, pivotal part in the whole of Star Wars and the legacy of Star Wars. And then on, again, like Charlie said, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. Before we do go, though, again, the floor is yours. Promote the con away. Over to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you guys once again for having us on. And thank you so much for attending year one. I know it was just Jimmy who attended in person, but I'm sure Charlie and Jack, you guys were there in spirit, and hopefully they're in person this year, because we would absolutely love to just.
I was sold on Bobby's mom.
She will be excited to meet you. Actually, I'm very certain of that, because she is very much a people person and always excited to make new friends. That's probably where I get it from. And like I said, it would be an absolute pleasure to host you here in our home, because that's the other thing that we showcase with Rebel Scum Con is it's not just us trying to host a place for the Star Wars community to just come and have a wonderful weekend around Star Wars fans, Star Wars celebrity guests, or friends of theirs that are Star Wars celebrity guests, because believe it or not, they're people too, and they make friends with the average Star Wars fan all the time. And a lot of them are super approachable, especially the ones we book. So, you know, feel free to try and have a conversation with them, as long as there's not like a huge rush, which, I mean, who knows? Get that photo op. There's going to be lots of cool photo op opportunities, lots of cool character pairing photo op opportunities this year, as well as some creative ones we had at year one that a lot of fans and even celebrities were pleasantly surprised by with the character pairings that we did. Because I mean, like a Star Wars fan would with their action figures, we were like, oh, well, we got to get Boba, and we got to get this Amgar, and we got to get the Weequay right next to him, right? And or we have a few Vaders, so we have an OT Vader and we have Kenobi Vaders, but you're still gonna get all these Vaders together, so things like that. And sorry, my brain's farting. So while we're sharing all those wonderful community things, we also set out to share our home with everybody who's coming from out of town, because North Texas has a lot of beautiful and wonderful things, and it's a wonderful travel destination with just about anything you could want to do. And a lot of the people are just pleasant and nice here, and we like to think we're pretty pleasant and nice ourselves. So we want all of the Star Wars friends and family that we have all around the world, whether we've met you before or not, to come spend time with us at our actual home and just have a pleasant time, have a pleasant stay with us too.
Awesome. So again, Bobby, the event, when is it? Where is it?
August 8th through the 10th, 2025 at the Frisco Conference Center in Frisco, Texas. It's super close to the DFW airport. There's tons and tons of hotels, including the hotel attached to the Frisco Conference Center, which I think our room block is sold out. Yes?
We sold our room block out. I asked them to add a few more rooms in there to do us a favor, because we hadn't even started announcing guests yet, and the room block had sold out. So they added a couple extra. And there's also 4 additional hotels that are
super close by,
either across the street to the left or across the street to the right of the conference center that have some of them have rates cheaper than the hotel that's connected to the convention.
Which even they were
and
like,
some
yeah,
of them
that's okay.
are a more upscale option. So if you want something a little fancier across the street, you have that too. And pretty much every one of the hotels besides the convention center hotel has free parking. The convention center, that's kind of one of their only ways of making money is, selling you hot pockets to take to your hotel room, and selling parking to attendees that are not staying there. But besides that,
we tried to get the parking bumped. We kept bringing that up before we signed the final contract in every meeting, and they just wouldn't budge on it.
Yeah, that was a fight we didn't win, but we did get. I think there's a slight discount, if I remember right, for hotel guests for parking. But all the other hotels that signed on with us are literally across the street, and they offer free parking as well. 2 of them are in the parking lot that's for the shopping mall that's across the street, where there's an enormous amount of eating.
Literally no stone unturned.
We are in the heart of everything again this year, but we just moved to a more lively town. Like the building directly next to us is the practice facility for the NHL Dallas Stars hockey team. Nice. 1 mile up the road is the practice facility for the Dallas Cowboys.
We're kissing Dr. Pepper Field.
Where there's a minor league baseball team. I think it's
Rough Riders.
Ryder Stadium now, I think.
Yep.
I think the Dr. Pepper left the name, but it's like a baseball field that they have a lazy river in the outfield. Mean, so there's a lot of fun stuff in Frisco. There's
I love
so many more guest announcements that we have coming up soon. I can't tell anybody anything yet.
Keep it.
There's a lot of fun stuff happening. Pre-sales for autographs and photo ops are going to be going up very soon. We want to be able to
already announced.
There's a lot happening. If the contracts that I'm working on this week come back, we are going to run into a situation with the amount of VIPs that we have left, because they're not going to be there anymore. It's going to be it's going to be pretty epic. There's going to be a number of first time evers at the show this year. First time ever making appearance. Yeah, there's going to be some.
There's already some last time evers signed on right now.
Yeah,
at our show. Yep,
it's going to be very exciting.
Yep, we're
brilliant. And as and when guys, keep dropping the posts and whatnot. And again, those that are watching and listening, just check out Explore the Force on our socials, all one word. Make sure you like, share, subscribe on our YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Again, everything for your Rebel Scum Con needs will be on there, as well as we work closely with these guys. We truly do wish you the best. I hope I can get there.
All the best of luck.
Really do.
Yeah, we hope you're
and I'm sure people are going to have an amazing time. I'm so jealous if I can't make it. Jim is going to be there. There's no reason for him not to be. I'll even pay for his ticket. He better be there. I know he's going there. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you immensely, guys. I will play this little video one more time, and then we'll all go.
Oh, yes.
Hello, what have we here?
This is just the beginning.
I know what you're gonna say.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror. Suddenly silence.
Love it. Love it.
Awesome. That was great.
Thank you guys so much. That was so
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.